I'm exhausted and it's barely 1 o'clock. So something that a lot of people want me to talk about is the emotional side of alopecia. In the beginning, it's such a nightmare. They tell you, like, this is a stress-induced autoimmune disorder and just stay calm, but you're losing your hair, which means it's basically impossible to just stay calm. And I know somebody personally who has alopecia totalis, which in the beginning I was like, no, I'm not losing all of my hair. I'm not losing all of my hair. Like, no, I refuse. And it's just like crying, and like the people around me who knew like the situation and what was happening, like saying, no, you have to just stay strong. You cannot cry. Like, you have to fight this. Like, you have to be strong for all the people out there who like need an example of like what does it mean to be strong. And you're really like, you're battling yourself at this point, like, just to try to have control over your emotions. This is where the meditation tracks came in and really helped me, that whenever I started to feel overwhelmed, I just like plugged into the meditation. So as many people are aware, I've been through a lot of extreme stresses since I've been in Israel, and it's starting with Masa and just like being ousted from the program. I tried to separate myself from the group while I was living with them because I'm not into the party scene and I'm pretty religious, and there was lots of gossip going on in the house, so I just like didn't want to be involved. And so I ended up being ousted from this program and sent to Jerusalem, where this program also had problems, except for the problem of like independence. Like, we were allowed to be independent on this program, but it had a lot of money issues, funding issues, and one of like 2 major events that happened under this program, we were going up a mountain and we got lost in the tour guide, and it was like left up to me and one other person to like figure out how to climb a flat slab of rock. And what was terrifying about this is it was like really like a flat slab of rock, and I had no idea how to climb it. And the added stress of like whatever method I did to get myself over this rock, everyone behind me was going to do it, and then if someone died or got hurt, it was going to be on me, because we were separated from the tour guide. Like, Baruch Hashem, no one died and everybody got out safely, but it was just like really like a bizarre situation that the tour guide just like didn't wait for everyone. And like, hiking in a group of 30 just should really like not be allowed. Like, it's too many people. Tour guide cannot possibly manage 30 people on a hike. And this was one thing. And on the way home from this trip, one of the people on the bus, I was like trying to wake him up and I couldn't wake him up, and he was in he was in an alcohol-induced coma. He was going into an alcohol-induced coma. And everyone kept saying, like, just leave him alone, let him sleep it off. And it's like, no, it's not normal. He's unresponsive. Like, he's not responding. Like, he's not even, like, swatting my hand away when I'm trying to wake him up. He's unresponsive. And then the medic came, because we had a medic on our trip, and she also wasn't unable to get a response from him. And at one point, like, we really thought he died. Like, it really seemed as though he had died. And so we were driving through the West Bank, and we had, and the tour guide saying we have to like wait until we can get to an IDF station. So we get to the IDF station, and now like the soldiers are taking this guy off the bus, and they're screaming like, why did we wait so long to get help? And I was just like, everyone just thought he was asleep. So anyway, I called my friend from the bus, and I was like, I need you to come get me, like, just come get me. And like, he's like my Israeli friend, and he came, and he like came to me, and I like got into the car, I sat down, and he was like, you're in shock. And I was like, what? And he's like, you're in shock, like what happened? And I like started to tell him like some of the things that had happened, and he was like, you just graduated from the Israeli army, like, he's like, this was your graduation from the Israeli army. And I was just like, I can't even believe like the things that happened. So this was Masa, and then I was in like a really just like screwed up situation with friends that I had been temporarily staying with, where I was asked to leave the house in the middle of the high holidays. whatever, it worked out in the end. Like, I am in a really nice apartment, and that my apartment, like, is in the center of my community, and, like, I have the best community from the situation. But just, like, and then I got into, like, with employment, like, my first employer, like, really screwed me. They didn't register me as, like, a worker, and all of these, like, just, like, crazy stupid things, just, like, one thing after another just kept happening. And so last year was the first year, like, with absolutely no stress until the thing happened. So I just realized there's a lot of, like, filler things that I'm not saying, which is, like, my situation with debating, my situation with citizenship and Aliyah, my boyfriend and I, like, whatever, when we broke up. So there's, like, little, like, things that were just, like, in between all of these things that just kept going last year. As much as I didn't have a lot of stress, the parents of my students really were the most annoying people. Like, Israeli parents are much better than the American ones. Like, wow, it was, like, really just over-involvement and dramatic and gossip, and, like, just, like, really, the kids are amazing. My students were amazing, but the parents were terrible. And I'm not a dramatic person. I'm really calm. Like, I'm pretty monotone. Like, as you can see, like, listening to me is probably very hard. But I know this, but I'd rather be, like, boring and just, like, calm than over dramatize something and make it more than what it is. So in August, I was in a situation that was extremely traumatic, like, and it lasted actually from August till November. And I was trying to control it, but, like, I just, like, I don't even want to talk about the situation because, like, I, like, promised, like, that I wouldn't, like, go into details about what happened because the person involved, like, wasn't mentally well. But it was just the most, I have just, like, really, like, looking back at it, compared to the other things, it wasn't as big of a deal. But like I said, it was the straw that broke the camel's back. So my hair was falling out, and, like, the doctors and, like, actually some YouTubers, like, reached out to me, and, like, everyone was, like, giving me different advice and, like, really just, like, really helped, like, YouTubers, like, people who have, like, thousands and thousands of followers, like, and so this is how, like, I found out about the meditations and, like, all the different, like, tricks and things that you can do. But one of the things that was told me to do, like, you take your hair and you just, like, lightly pull it like this, and you have to count your hairs, and anything more than 100 is too many. And they really wanted that I would count all of them, like, to know the number. Am I losing 200, 300? Like, what's the amount that I'm losing per day? And it was so hard for me that I said after it's over 100, I stopped counting because it's too much. I don't want to know how many past 100 it is. So I'm a very, as you, like, have noticed, I am very, like, religious. I, like, really love Hashem, and I'm very, like, serious about Torah study and, like, all of these things that, like, my whole day is centered on these things. And so I started to cover my hair as, like, one of the methods to control the hair loss, because, like I said in a previous video, like, hair is, like, judgment. It brings harsh judgment on you. And in November, the shedding slowed down to only 50 hairs a day for a while. Actually, I haven't counted them in a while. Like, I'm just, like, focusing on keeping my mind focused on the growth and not the loss. But it did, like, Hashem, like, really blessed me that the amount lessened to only 50 hairs a day, which is way less than the normal hairs you should lose. You should lose 100 hairs a day. So, and also, like, other things that, like, contributed just before Rosh Hashanah, and again before Yom Kippur, I was sent to the mikveh, to go to the mikveh and, like, just, like, get this old life off, like, get it off, like, we have to, like, start doing, like, a repair. And so, like, this was also, like, another thing. So I, like, really believe that Hashem is, like, the force behind my hair regrowth and all of the shedding. So it's been, like, as difficult emotionally as it's been, like, it's also been, like, some of the most growth I've been in, because I would have never have gotten to this place spiritually. Like, I would have never have done the meditations. Like, I would never have done meditation. And just, like, other different things, like, I would have never done them. And so in like this aspect, it's been like really like good, but in the times of counting the hair, it's really just like traumatizing, like just like seeing all of this and knowing the number. Like it was so awful, and just feeling like everybody in the street could just like see that my hair was falling and I was bald, and like I had some type of plague or a curse or severe punishment. Like all of these things were like really mentally exhausting. And like there were a few times where I did have like suddenly like just like breakdowns, like in the middle of the Beit Knesset, the synagogue. Like I just started bawling, I couldn't stop, like I just like could not stop. And all these like different things in along the way that was just, it was just an emotionally exhausting process until you start to see the hair come back. And when I started to see like little hairs, and you get excited, like every little hair is like an excitement. And every like baby hair that forms around my face, like I was so excited to see it. And the main thing like is now like quarantine was such a like, for me, like how do I not lose my hair again? Like how do I not stress it beyond control when I'm making no money at all? I have no, like whatever money I have, that's it. Like I don't have any money coming in, and it's been for me like a big test. Like this quarantine is a big test between if I would be able to emotionally handle this or not. But there's people walking outside. Everybody who walks by my house, it's like they're inside my house. I don't even know what I was saying. It's that I've been in, like, it's really difficult, like, and it's just now getting difficult, like, as far as my schedule, financially, it was difficult within the first week. Anyway, I think I'm gonna stop for now. Maybe, like, tomorrow I'll explain, why I didn't tell anybody, like, only a few people. Like, I didn't tell anybody until recently. Just some people I told that I knew were going to ask questions upon seeing my hair covered. At this point, everyone kind of knows, and people have actually been like, the people who do know, when asked why is my hair covered, they just say it's like I'm just trying to be extra righteous. They don't ever, like, no one has put my business out there, at least the ones who are aware of what's happening. So I do have good people around me, but we will go in detail further later on.